Good morning. Barry Bryson here. Thank you for joining me for another 5 good minutes with the Word. We are continuing our conversation about Ephesians chapter 2 today, and we're going to finish looking at chapter 2 as we finish our conversation about verses 18 through 25. He's addressing servants particularly. He's going to be addressing wives and husbands in chapter 3. This connects with what Paul writes the Ephesians and the Colossians. Both of those letters, of course, are prison epistles, and Paul has just written them in recent years, if not recent months, as Peter is writing First Peter. This is really the beginning of the third of the house orders that we are given in the New Testament. Ephesians chapters 5 and 6, Colossians chapter 3, 1 Peter chapters 2 and 3. And all these passages hinge on the difference between obedience and submission, and include and fear and honor and respect. That there's the fear that we have of God, but then there's the honor and respect that we pay for each other. There's the submission, the deference we pay to each other. Then there's the obedience that we give to God. And he's talked about that as it relates to slaves, to servants. And let's remind ourselves, as I did yesterday, slavery practiced in the Roman Empire was not chattel slavery practiced in the American South, in the antebellum South. It just wasn't. It's not the same institution at all. It is the only social safety net available to people in the Roman Empire. And it did not relinquish your family, your children, your wife to chattel slavery and their offspring into perpetuity. It just didn't. It was only about you. And it was a way to provide for yourself, for your family, when there were no other avenues available to you. And he's saying you need to submit to and respect your masters, even when they're wrong, even when they treat you unfairly. God wants you to be this person, because this is going to demonstrate who you are in Jesus Christ. Quite literally, it's going to demonstrate who you are in Jesus Christ, because Jesus went through this too. And he takes us back to Isaiah 53 and connects us with so many other passages with Jesus' own teaching. You were straying like sheep, but now you've returned to the shepherd and guardian of your souls. Peter was there. He was listening to Jesus, who was looking him in the eye at the end of Matthew chapter 9, when he said, I have mercy on the crowds. They're like sheep without a shepherd, cast away and mutilated. Pray to the Lord of harvest to send forth harvesters into his harvest field. And who would that be? That would be Peter, who went out on a missionary journey the very next chapter. Peter heard Jesus say, when I look at these folks, they're like sheep without a shepherd, but I'm the good shepherd. I'm the one who's going to take care of them. And he's saying to these servants, these slaves who are in bad situations, you have someone caring for you, someone for whom this matters immensely, and someone who will rescue you from this, I should say. And that person is Jesus himself. In the meantime, understand this: you are fellowshipping with Jesus. In Philippians chapter 3, prison epistle, Philippians chapter 3, Paul says, this is what I want in this life. I want to know him, Jesus, the power of his resurrection, the fellowship of his suffering, so that I can attain the resurrection of the dead. I want to know Jesus fully. I want the full Jesus experience. Peter is saying, you're having a full Jesus experience. This is what happened to Jesus. Jesus he's already referred to, connected us to the Beatitudes. Be thankful when you're persecuted, because they persecuted the prophets this way who were before you, and your reward in heaven is great. Well, he goes a step further. He reminds us of our reward in Jesus, but he says they persecuted not just the prophets this way, they persecuted Jesus this way. This thing that Paul wanted, expressed that he wanted in Philippians chapter 3, you're going through this right now. And Jesus is sharing with you in it. When you say your prayers at night, Jesus knows exactly what you're saying, what you're going through, because he went through it too. And he empathizes with you. And this helps you understand him better, because it's what he endured, what the prophet said he would endure, Isaiah chapter 53. And so not only do you get to know Jesus better, but you know that Jesus knows exactly what you're going through, knows you already perfectly, and your experiences perfectly, because they're his experiences too. It's just a wonderful, amazing thing that in this life, no matter what we have happened to us, no matter how difficult it is, how unfair it is, how unjust it is, everything only serves to strengthen our connection to Jesus. It's the way God has arranged things through Jesus' death, burial, and resurrection. If we would just let these things make us stronger, they will. And that's a theme he's already introduced so many times in this letter, talking about us being refined like gold. You know, and he's just told us over and over again, these things are making you stronger and helping you to know Jesus better. Okay. Well, we'll pick up with chapter 3 next time. Thank you so much for joining me for another 5 good minutes with the Word.